Greetings, fellow seekers of truth, wisdom, and light. This is Reverend Eliot, your friendly neighborhood esoteric practitioner, coming to you live tonight from the city of New York, where we get together every Wednesday at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific to look through the magical window of the tarot. I've got my trusty tarot cards here, and they're ready to go. I was just thinking about how long I've been doing this. I've been doing this since the early 80s, somewhere like 1982. I sublet an apartment after a trial marriage I had. Well, somebody tampered with the jury, let's just put it that way. And the marriage didn't work out, so I was somewhere else. And there was only one book in this apartment that I sublet, and it was a Waite's book, A Pictorial Guide to the Tarot, which is a terrible book, by the way. I mean, a lot of people buy that because it looks like it's going to be a nice, easy thing to understand, but it's very obscurantistic, if that is still a word. It was a word in the Victorian age, but it might not be now. In any case, it's very there's a lot of stuff that's just goes off the deep end in terms of hiding things. But it was a good start, and it confused me to the point where I decided to look into it more. And there you go. Ultimately writing my own tarot book called, believe it or not, Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, just like this show. Well, I had a nice week, an eventful week in terms of innovation. I went into my laboratory. Now, for those of you who didn't know that I have a laboratory, I don't. It's my kitchen, you know. But am I shuffling these cards backwards here? Yeah, I got some of them all mixed up. Well, that's going to be a lot of fun tonight. That should be interesting. And I some of you know, because I incessantly plug it. I have my own brand of shaving soap, and I did that for a reason, which is there used to be several brands of shaving soap that were quite foamy and good and simple, not filled with scents and oils and things that are unnecessary. That I used to use those, and there were three of them, and they were very affordable. And then inflation hit, and they went out of business. One of the companies was Williams Shaving Soap, which was the first shaving soap made for a mug back in the 1800s, and so we lost that. And what we're left with was kind of expensive stuff. And so I started making my own soap, and I wasn't quite happy with the results. So I've been tinkering with it and tinkering with it. And now I'm going to show you what I got here because I kind of like this. This is, if you get the soap, it comes in a little can. And look at this. It's a thicker soap now, and it's almost transparent. It's quite translucent, and it is, well, it's foamy as hell, and I like it a lot. I used it, and I had a blast using it. It came out, it exceeded my expectations, this formula that I cobbled together. And there it is. You know, and now I'll tell you something else. This is now, not only is it bigger in a sense that it's larger than the other soap I made, but it weighs the same, strangely enough. And it doesn't use up as much when you whip it up to foam it, so it lasts longer. Now here's the funny part. It's it's easier to make. So it's simple. So I knocked $2 off the price. It was $6.99 for a piece of my shaving soap, and now it's going to be $4.99. You can see all that at mojoacademy.org. There's stuff there about the changes that'll be coming as I roll this out. But it's better. It's lasts longer, and it's cheaper. What more do you want, right? So this is what I was looking for, because I didn't, I've never paid $19 for a piece of shaving soap in my life, and I wouldn't ask anyone else to do it too. And I tell you the truth, I was a little bit not happy charging what I did charge for it. But now, because of the changes I made, and I was just delighted to see how well it turned out, that I'm going to knock off $2. I think $4.99 is decent for that, and it'll last quite a while. So keep an eye on mojoacademy.org for that. And that was the high point of my week. To give you a rough idea of what my life is like in old age, is that I get aroused by turning on making soap. In my late teens, I was making beer and wine. That made me quite popular. I don't know how popular shaving soap would make me because only 5% of men shave using a shaving soap. And even fewer using a shaving soap and a straight razor. So, I'm just like, as you could guess, I'm rather on the old fashioned side. So there it is, right? So that's it. That's our soap, and because it's clear. I think I'll just rather pompously name it Cristal. But why not, right? So anyway, it's good to be back. I think this is my third week back, which is good because I had a rough time earlier in the year, and I missed a bunch of shows. I missed shows after April 28th or so, and I hate doing that, but I also hate not being able to give 100% to a show, and that's important to me. And if I can't get near 100%, I won't do it. I'll just not waste everybody's time. But here I am, and let's see. There anything else new to report? I don't think so. No, nothing new. Maybe when Halloween gets closer, I'll have some stuff to talk about because that's our time of year. I've been mailing out some custom talking boards. I can't call them that other name because that's a trademark. But I do have. You go to mojoacademy.org and look at the custom talking boards, and you'll see I can make one for you that fits your specifications. It's and see these boxes behind me here. That's books and things that are all ready to go out to people. This is I'm talking to you from my warehouse. Oh boy, my laboratory, my warehouse. What the heck do I live in? Anyway, we're here now, and in the middle of November, which is actually the end of May, but it's like November out here in New York. It's dark, it's cold, it's rainy. This is crazy. This is just insane. I really want some of that global warming I keep hearing about because it's cold here and it's dank and dark, and that's why Halloween was on my mind, I guess. So anyway, enough of this. Let's make up for lost time. And I have the cards all shuffled up, as you saw. In fact, I messed them up a bit, but there you go. And I've got. If I sound a little peculiar now and then, it's because I'm trying to not have the hiccups. Did you ever try to not have the hiccups? That's very funny. And how many illnesses or afflictions do we still apply the word "the" to? Like we don't hear about he has the cold. We do hear the flu, the measles. There's another one I won't mention, but that's knocked out with penicillin. There's all kinds of bizarre stuff. But no, the lumbago. That does anyone get that anymore? I sure do, but I don't know. I don't call it the lumbago. I call it ouch and start yelling and screaming. Anyway, we're back and I'm feeling actually alive and vitalized. And this is what I am like. I am the fruit of modern medical science. So there you go. They're, at any given moment, I'm like a couple of weeks away from being dead, but they can move that goalpost by constantly treating me. Think about that. That's something fascinating. And I've met a lot of interesting people. I've met a lot of annoying people. I've met a lot of unhappy people. I've met a lot of people who are fine and happy and just dealing with dealing with what's in the cards for all of us. If you want to know where that expression comes from about something being in the cards, it's tarot. So let's ring a bell 3 times now so that we can declare sacred space and get to the first caller. How's that? Ready? And let's go to Ashley in Layton, Utah. Hi, Ashley. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi,
Hi, how are you tonight, Ashley?
I'm doing good.
Well, maybe we can make that a little better. What can I look at for you tonight?
Just guidance, future,
Okay, well, let's see what we've got here. Well, the first card I have at the top of the deck is after I shuffle them is the Three of Cups. That is, do you have any plans or is there something you're working on, something you want to do?
Um, just trying to love myself
Oh,
and
okay. Well, that's a worthy project, your product. The minute you become a product, you're going to have problems with the law. But no, the reason I mention that is because the cups are about emotions and feeling and love and self. Look, I've run into too many people who hate themselves, and there's these little tapes that play in our head all the time, aren't, that say, you're not good enough. Who are you to do this? And it really people put that it is the clinical psychologists will say that we are all living in a post-hypnotic trance induced in early childhood, and that's part of it, this idea of being worthless. I mean, I knew somebody like whose parents were divorced when he was very young, and when parents divorce, a little kid can blame him or herself. So this kid asked his grandmother, his wise old grandmother, said, "Did mom and dad break up because of me?" And his grandmother said, "Yes, it was only because of you." Now this ruined him for years. So it's not funny. The things that we say to kids, even if we're joking, there's certain things we don't want to joke about. But the card that I got here that I mentioned for you is the Three of Cups, which is the completion of a matter in plenty, which means that what you're setting out to do, you're going to succeed, and it's going to be very rewarding for you. Very rewarding for you. And this
yay.
is it's a very good card. It's a decent card that shows that you're on the right track. And you didn't really mention anything about the emotional aspect of this until you told me about it, and I already had this card. So there is, of course, that does that make sense? You didn't mention it until you told me about it. No. I'm losing my syntax, folks. That's and the syntax I think is about 20% now. In any event, I need a rim shot for that. Wait a minute. There you go. So let's just shuffle this up and see how you're going to do on your emotional journey for yourself. How's that? Would you like to look at that?
Yes, I would love that.
Okay. What I've got now is the Two of Swords, which tells me that you feel that you're kind of stuck in one place. Do you feel that? No movement one way
Yes,
or the other? Okay. Well,
yes,
that can be pretty frustrating, but no movement one way or the other certainly is better than bad movement. So, you've got time. That's followed by the 10 of coins, and that's an interesting card about happiness and joy and tradition and family and ancestors and seeing yourself as part of the whole line that you've descended from. And all these people are on your side, the ancestors. So this is a very good sign here. The next card I have for you is the Temperance card, which is about balance. If you feel that your life is out of balance, this card represents the return of balance in your life. And that will be good. That's what you want. And of course, there's a cup on that card. You see, the angel in this card is holding a cup. The first card I told you about was the Three of Cups. And now the next card I have is the Ace of Cups, which tells me that it's the beginning of good stuff for you emotionally. Usually in tarot, we assign that to like romance, but that's only because so many people ask about romance. Um,
yeah,
but overall, it's about emotion. It's about emotions. Now, you're the thing is this, there's the Eight of Cups again. Wow, you see, emotion is very important to you. Am I correct?
yes, very.
Feelings. I know that they like to say that women have feelings and men have rational thoughts, but life is certainly not that simple, and there are some of us of any sex who are emotion based, and there's others who are simply rational based, and it could happen to anybody. But I'm getting here because this is the Eight of Cups, and I have one, two, three. That's three cards I got for you in the suit of cups plus one card that has a cup on it. So to me, I'm seeing that it's telling me that emotions and your emotional existence is very important to you, and you're working to nurture that, and that's the thing you mentioned, that you're a journey of self-discovery. Would you say it is, or self-improvement? Because this is the
Yes,
card.
definitely.
That's the card right here. It's the Eight of Cups. That shows a person leaving what isn't working for her in life and going to the things that are working. That's very upbeat. That's a very good thing to do. Breaking bad habits, and oh well, look at this. See, I got that same card again. The one I started with, I have again. The Three of Cups, and I shuffled the cards in the middle there, so that's kind of a message then for that to show up one more time. So yeah, and again, it's one, two, three, four cards here reflecting the nature of cups. Let's see if I pull one more. Let's see. No, well, this is the Eight of Swords. I'll put that with the Two of Swords because they're essentially the same in this regard. Is that you're feeling stuck. You're not feeling any movement. But the Three of Swords, as I said, the traditional language of that card is the completion of a matter in plenty. So it looks to me that you are going to have some action and in movement in your life towards the goal that you want, and you're going to do very well with it. In fact, there's the card that I was hoping to get is the Sun, which is a card of healing and health and happiness and growth. Very, very good, very well done. And I think that if you can just get through this period where you feel stuck and where there's no motion, if you can get through that, you will be fine. Okay, just don't let it get you down.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, it's going to get you a bit down. I mean, there's nothing. I'm not saying ignore your feelings. That of course is worse than not having feelings. Is to have them and ignore them. I mean, we have an evolutionary advantage over feelings because of feelings, and it's good. Like one of the things that it's just a personal thing for me is how people try to train anger out of children. Don't you raise your voice to me, young lady, and things like that. Uh, because anger is important. Anger is the thing that tells you you've been mistreated. And now constant anger is rage, and that isn't any good. But I see that you are very in touch with your emotions, and you're acting on them, and you're acting on them in a positive way. I don't see any negativity here at all, and you're going to come out of this all right. That I get that from the sun, the major card of the sun, which is that you're going to get through this and be fine. So hang in there. You're on a very good path, and it's going to work for you.
Yay, that's awesome news. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling in. Bye bye now.
Yeah. Bye.
And let's shuffle these up again. Let's see if I can shuffle them without ruining the whole thing here. But that's a thing about feelings that I've written extensively about this in Reverend Eliot Explains It All. I'm just mentioning that not quite as a plug light, a plugette. Yeah. But the fear is a big one because that I've written about extensively, not just in Reverend Eliot Explains It All, but in two forwards to a book that's 106 years old called Unmasking Fear, which is, these are all books at mojoacademy.org. I urge you to take a look there, just to see if anything piques your interest, because there's a book there that'll change your mind, maybe that too, but it'll change your life. I'm not interested in changing people's minds. That's why I don't argue with people. I mean, I have no dog in that hunt. It means nothing to me. I have no qualms about dealing with people whose opinions differ from mine, but what I'm concerned about are people who hurt themselves with the way they think, and that that's not natural, and you're definitely not doing it out of choice. You're doing it because it was implanted in you, And fear is, again, that's the emotion that tells us that we're in danger. But constant fear is terror, and that can kill you. They found, I wrote about this during the pandemic. Science has long known that when you're in a state of fear, your immune system shuts down. You will get sick because that blood and that energy is needed to go to your legs and your head, your legs and your arms and your head. The head so you can see the situation clearly, your arms so that you can fight, and your legs so that you can run like hell and get out of there if you're really in danger. That's it. So this is one of the things I like about tarot, is that it covers the emotional gamut, and it shows people and validates their emotions, because so many people have said to me over the years, is this silly? And then they'll tell me how they feel, and no, it's not silly. It's silly, by the way, is a very misunderstood word. It means empty. It means empty. One of the few places where you'll hear it used correctly and nobody notices it is in the movie North by Northwest, when the woman is holding a gun on Cary Grant, and he suddenly realizes that there's no bullets in it, and he refers to it as that silly gun. And whoever put that in there was rather arch. But that's what it means. It means empty. And you're not going to have empty feelings. You have these feelings for a moment, and they hit you, and they're there for a purpose. So please don't disregard them, but see if you can take command over them. And that's what things like Unmasking Fear, that book, that's what they're about. That's books like that are about. Let's see. Melissa in Batesville, Arkansas is next. Hi, Melissa. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. One of the nicest people I ever met was from Arkansas, and we had a wonderful conversation a couple of times. And I
Well,
said,
that's
I
wonderful.
well, because I accidentally mentioned something to him which was sort of offensive, but I'm a New Yorker, right? So I have no feelings about these things. Now, are you native to the South?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll tell you this, because this shocks people. I went to PS 87 here, the elementary school, where I always loved that place because I learned how to read there, and that my whole future opened up because of reading. The name of the school is
hmm
the William Tecumseh Sherman School. Now,
Gosh.
you can, you know, I don't have to explain to you why that upsets some people, right? That's
hmm
so I told him that, look, there was a lot of hysteria here in New York around the time of the War of Northern Aggression, and
hmm
he just said, "Bless you for putting it that way," and it was. So I think I earned my way back. I
It's
think I
the
did.
well-known Southern thing of bless your heart.
Yes, but usually sarcastically, correct?
Y- A lot
He
of
was,
times, yes, but yes,
yeah.
it really makes you question it.
Yes, well, he was. He said he was so happy to hear a person up north refer to the War of Northern Aggression. So there you go, right?
Right.
Uh,
Yes.
so anyway, I always think of that conversation when I think of Arkansas, and I do think
Well,
of Arkansas now and then. So what can I look at
you
for you
have to
tonight?
visit and see our Ozarks.
Oh, I would. I'd love to. I flew over it once,
Yes.
but that's not good enough.
Oh no, no.
I was in an airplane, though, just to clarify things.
I started to say,
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear.
yeah. So what would you like to look at in the cards?
Just some guidance, honey, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, let's see. I'll shuffle them up and see what we get.
Okay.
One more here we should do, and I'll cut them. Oh, okay. Well, the King of Coins is here. That's an interesting card on two levels in this case. It's And the ace of coins, jeepers creepers. Well, looking for guidance, for asking me for guidance and getting there's money here. There's big money here. The king of coins is my card. That's the significator for somebody my age, a male my age roughly. So yeah, it's and my birth date. So yeah, that card could indicate me, but it also indicates that you're very good with money. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, because
I have no choice.
yeah, you tell me about it. I mean, I've known people who were terrible with money, and and I don't mean like they were irresponsible. They were just not there.
Right.
There was a woman I knew who was an airline stewardess, so maybe it was jet lag, but she used to use credit cards until the credit card was refused, and then she'd use another one. She had no idea what she was spending ever. So,
Mm,
so she got into problems with her money that way.
I
But
can say.
yeah, I would say anybody who's paying attention would have to pick up some skill with a dollar here. But you're doing good with that. This is good. This is good. This is the guidance is that it can mean that there's money coming towards you, but the main thing is that that's a strength for you. Here's another one, the eight of coins. See, there's three cards here and they're all coins, like the previous person got all cups. The eight of coins refers to starting a new job or a new phase of a job or a new assignment. But whatever it is, it's something new that you will maybe be kind of like an apprentice at. But you will pick it up and you will succeed and you will be rewarded.
That's great
So
to hear.
that shows me that you're a person of great skill, and it's going to go out very well for you.
Good. That's
Okay,
good to
now
hear.
since I began with the king of coins, the next card is the queen of coins. That's really interesting. Now here's another one, the page of swords. Swords are mental activity, and the pages are the appearance of something new in that field. So this tells me that your thinking is changing. Your mental
Mhm.
outlook in life is changing. It's growing. So are you going through that now, right? Now, a change
Yes. Yes. I
of
think it may be
the
the
way you
age
see things?
thing, but yeah.
Well, let's hope, they claim we get wisdom. I'm still waiting, but I'm not a,
That's like me waiting for the middle age spread.
yeah,
I
I'm no
keep wanting to
kid.
gain weight my whole life, and everybody keeps saying, "Oh, when you hit 40." Well, I don't know where it's at.
Well, I was grotesquely fat when I was in my 30s, and then I dropped. I lost all that weight. I was sick of it, so I stopped. I just
Well, I tell you,
diet and
one
exercise.
extreme to the other is just as bad as the. I mean, it just depends on
Yes,
the person and
I've
what you,
just
you know. Yeah,
I've just kept it nice and even these days. I hope
yeah.
we'll see. So here's the overall in terms of guidance for you is this card, which is the world, which is assured success. You'll be okay. You're going to do all
Mm,
right. Under
good.
that, I
That's
have a
good to
card,
hear.
the Chariot. Now, these are two major cards, so they're important. The Chariot shows me that you can handle situations that would be deemed stressful by ordinary mortals. That because this is a person who has got a white horse and a black horse. One goes this way, one goes that way, and she is there holding the reins, keeping it together. And you're good with that, so that's good to know.
That
So yeah,
sounds about right. I'm glad to hear I'm doing a
I
good job.
yeah, I see it good here. Good stuff here. The page of coins again. Always money here with you. That's the page of swords and the page of coins, which tells me that whatever this idea that you're working on with the way that your mind is growing and changing is you're going to make money out of that. You're going
That's
to
good
put
to
that to
hear.
profable use. These people would be
That's always a
smart to stay
positive.
around you. That's what I see.
Don't you tell everyone
Yeah, there you go. So
that.
it's going well. There's one other thing. It's the Ace of Rods. You have the aces and the pages. These are about beginnings, and the rods is about career. So there's the possibility that you may be doing something new in terms of your work life. This fits in with the 8 of coins that I mentioned. It's about starting something new, but you're headed for some changes because of the way your mind is growing and changing. So I think it's all positive, not a negative thing in the
Great.
bunch here. Yeah, here's the Wheel of
Oh,
Fortune, which
great.
tells me that things are changing for you, and that's followed up by the 10 of coins, which is a card of perfected happiness. So there you go.
Great. Great.
I think you're
It's
going to do
time.
fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good. I question sometimes.
I know.
I thank you
Sometimes
so
it's
much.
I wonder what the plan is, and why.
Right,
But if
right,
I keep that up, I'm
exactly.
going to end up in a roadshow of Fiddler on the Roof or something, So no.
There you go.
But
Well, I
I'm not
sure
going to
thank
walk
you for
around
your time.
singing If I Was a Rich Man, But anyway,
Right,
hey, it
right.
was a pleasure talking to you.
And you
So
too. And you have a
you're
good
headed for
evening.
some very good times. Bye-bye now.
Great, great. I'm ready. Bye-bye.
Bye. And hey, look at that. We rounded the corner of the first half of the show. You see how fast things move when we have a good time here. Now, if you don't have a good time now, I want to know why you're bothering even to listen. If it's that bad, right? I don't know. I just enjoy this. You have no idea. I mean, the closest I came was when I wrote the book, Reverend Eliot's Magickal Window. I dedicated it to the Ask One radio audience because you people really turned my life around in many ways. And I've been doing this for like 11 years now. And it's just, I can't imagine not doing it. This was so difficult last year when I was very ill. And out of 52 shows, I only did 15. And I forced myself to do those, I suppose. It was, and I'll be back next week, and then you don't hear from me for 6 months, So I can't tell you the energy I get coming down through this whole system of satellites and computers and earpieces and microphones. Here's my cute little microphone. But I can't imagine not doing this anymore. I would do it even more. I would change my name and have another show. I'll get a toupee. That's just what I need is a hairpiece, right? and if I could, I would do more. I really would. I just enjoy. I enjoy talking to people in general, but I certainly enjoy talking to enlightened people, such as the Ask One radio audience, because you're always so upbeat and positive. You energize me, and maybe, just maybe, you're part of the reason I've survived this far. Think about that. Pat yourself on the back, right? Let's see. So let's go to the next caller. We'll talk to Connie in Toronto. Hi, Connie. You're on with Reverend Eliot. How are you doing tonight, Connie?
I'm all right. I just talked to you.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, who was I talking? When was that?
I don't know. It was me.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe you had the wrong.
Was that Arkansas? No. Am I confused here or what? Look at that. The mind is going, isn't it? What?
I don't know, but I just talked to you, but maybe it wasn't for me. Maybe that reading was for someone else. I don't know.
Well, what did I tell you? Let me remind me now.
You told me that it was going to be good, that I was looking at, my mindset is changing and that I was looking at a new career. And
that was, yeah. You probably heard me through the phone line. I was talking to a woman in Arkansas, Melissa.
Oh, okay.
So now if that covers all the bases for you, you're fine, right? but no, that was the previous caller that you heard.
Oh, okay. Okay, I wasn't sure because I was talking to you and you were talking to me. I just thought it was me. I don't know.
Oh, maybe you thought that I was talking to you and you answered, but I didn't hear you. I only heard the woman in Arkansas.
Oh,
How weird.
okay.
You
Okay.
know,
You said something about being overweight.
yeah, that was me. My mind is fragile
Yeah.
enough. Don't scare me like this. You know, I just spoke to you and I don't even
Okay.
know you,
Well,
right?
we'll
No,
okay,
it's a
so we'll start
mechanical
over
thing.
then.
Right. Because I don't recall talking to somebody in Ontario.
In
Otherwise,
Toronto. Okay.
I would have made my usual lame joke about how you're going to be the 51st state, right? So, no.
Oh, okay. Yes, I heard that the last time. Okay.
Oh, okay. Boy, I'm just so predictable, right? It's anyway, what can I look at for you now that I've actually got you on the phone? How's that?
Um, I'm just looking more for like my health, pretty much. Yeah, like because
Okay.
I've been really working on it. Because I have a homeopath and I have a naturopath. I have a homeopath and I have a nutritionist. And my
Mhm.
homeopath is actually driving me crazy. I don't know if I should be with her anymore. And I
Well,
like the
that
nutritionist. I think she's trying to help me.
well, you know, I'm a believer. I had a doctor one time, a physician, who told me, and I was in my 40s maybe at the time, who said the problem is that human beings are not meant to live beyond the age of about 24. So I decided to get another doctor. You know, I didn't want that. That's for sure. So if you're uncomfortable, look around. You know, see someone else. Maybe ask around. You know, call the county medical society and talk to the people there at the phone or on the website. They're very helpful. A lot of people don't know about the county medical societies. They're very a good resource. But you're talking to somebody
Okay.
who's shoulder deep in doctors. I mean, I'm a medical, what's the word? I mean, I'm financing the lifestyle of several doctors at the moment. So, but in exchange, they're keeping me alive. So unless they're lying to me, see, there's only one way I can find out, which is to stop seeing them and drop dead. And then I'll have the satisfaction of knowing I was wrong, right? So what do you got? What do you do,
Yeah.
right? So now my first bit of advice always when somebody calls and asks me about health is if you have any concerns to see a medical practitioners, but you're doing that. And if you're not
Yeah,
comfortable
I'm
with
doing
somebody,
that.
please, yeah, please. But if you're not comfortable with somebody, ask around and see if there's somebody else you'd be more comfortable with. And even, you know, how would that person react if you said, you know, Doc, I'm not comfortable with you? Maybe something can be worked out. You know, maybe there's some misunderstanding. That's a situation for you to judge, but there's no reason to, the world is crawling with medical practitioners. There's no real reason to stay with somebody who you neither trust nor like, in a sense. So that's that's my feeling. I'm
Yeah.
certainly not giving you medical advice,
Yeah.
but there you go.
Mhm.
Uh, it's well, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very complex because you can find somebody with the exact same situation that you have, and it'll be different, even though it's the same setup. So it's very
Yeah.
personal. It has to be for you, tailored for you, and that's 90% of it all. Uh, I I I got into a fight with a
There's
doctor in
not
the
very
hospital
many
in November.
homeopaths.
No,
Yeah.
I oddly enough, I grew up in an apartment building in New York with an osteopath in the building. And those are even more rare, I believe, at this point. But homeopathic, I used to make my own medications, but a lot of people thought that natural herbal medications is homeopathy, and it's not. It's a whole different ballgame. So,
Homeopaths are hard to come by. Like the one I
yes.
had originally, she retired and I
Uh,
inherited this one. And I mean, she's okay. She's just a bit snotty. So I don't really
well,
like it, like,
well, yeah, I
you
guess
know,
there's so few that it's hard to deal with, I suppose. But check around. As I said, check the county medical society and talk to people there. I'm sure.
yeah.
I know that's a thing here in the States, and I'm pretty sure that they have such a thing in Canada also, because you guys are probably way more civilized than we are. Let's put it bluntly, right? So let's see, right? So
Yeah.
let's see what I find here, though. Well,
For cards,
I,
you
I,
mean?
I'm seeing the card I have here is This is perfect. This is actually exactly what I would like to see. Is the Eight of Rods is the first one. That means there's some changes on the way in your situation. Things are going to change. Probably for the better, usually because of the next cards. The tower struck by lightning is here, and that's about an upheaval, sudden change. Something is going to happen in your life that's going to make things change. Now, of course, it's on the way. That's the main thing. Now, because the main question is, will it be good or bad? And I'm telling you, it's going to be good because the next card is the Sun. And this is the card I really like to see when somebody asks about health concerns. It's about healing. It's about health. It's about growth. It's all the positive stuff that you could want. So you're on a good track. As with the previous
that's
reading
good.
I
I
had,
think I am.
yeah, this is you're just not. The Two of Swords shows me that you're just not feeling it. You know that it's now that doesn't mean it's happening and you don't know it. I'm just saying that you're not feeling that you're being well taken care of, for instance, because that's about, like I said with the previous caller, and you may have heard it, the idea that a stalemate in a sense. Nothing is moving. You know, there's no progress.
It's moving
So
slowly. It's moving
yeah,
slowly, but it's because I have a lot of sensitivity, so I have to do things real slow. And that's just who I am. And, you know, they want you to take this, take that, take this. And I'm like, okay, I can take this, but I have to wait to take that. Or
mm-hmm.
if I take too much of this, then I go a step backwards. And then then I have to wait because I have so many sensitivities that I'm getting there, but I just have to do it
I hear you.
slow.
That's I hear you. I do not like being pressured. I was saying I was in the hospital in November of last year, and I got into an argument with a doctor, a surgeon, who he handed me something to eat that was wrong. I wasn't allowed to eat that. It would have given me big problems, and I refused, and he started to berate me, and that doesn't work on me,
Can't
you
eat
know.
nothing raw.
Hmm? Pardon?
Can't eat raw. Raw's not good for you. That's
Yeah, well,
bad
well,
bacteria.
it would that yeah, well, I can't I can't process raw meats, for instance, like steak tartare and sushi and things like that.
No.
But he gave me
Yeah.
something wrong,
I
is what
don't eat
he
none of that
gave.
neither.
What he gave me was wrong. I didn't say raw. I meant raw.
Oh,
Raw.
wrong.
No, I
Okay,
meant
gotcha.
wrong, not
Wrong.
raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wouldn't
Yeah.
let
Okay.
go. And I insulted him. Actually, I said to him, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be ordered around by somebody who just went to a trade school. And he was furious, you know. And they sent a team of doctors to talk to me about my bad behavior. And they said, well, and this is the key, said they came to agree with me. They said I was right. And they said, at least we've learned that you're not a passive patient. Now, there are too many of those, it
Yeah.
turns out. You, oh, I hear that you're not one
Well,
either, right? You're not.
well, it's too funny because I was in the hospital and the doctor wanted me to eat something I didn't want to eat. And I got mad, the same as
Hmm.
you. And I said, you know that I should not be eating this.
Yeah,
And
that's what happened to me.
and then she said to me, well, yeah, okay, I guess so. After I
Yeah.
insisted I'm not eating it. And then okay, well, that's fair enough. Like that. I'm like, how stupid. She comes in the room and the first thing she says to me, well, you're diabetic, you're this, you're that. I said, I'm not any of that. I said, do you have the right chart?
Yeah. That's
So I
great.
was like, what is going on here? You know what I mean? So yeah, I did the exact same thing. And she didn't
Yeah,
like
that's
it. She didn't,
this that's crazy making, you know. I mean, I everything that they had on that tray that they gave me was on a list of things that people with my condition are not allowed to eat. And you know,
well, that's
not
what they did to
allowed at
me.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with you. So yeah, you got, you know, and you correct them, and it's like you have said to say, listen, Moses, you left off a commandment, you know. No, you know, forget it, man. So I'm glad you stood your ground. But the point is that that the doctors agreed that we shouldn't be passive patients, and I wish more people got into that. And it doesn't mean to be abusive, although I came close to getting there. but it means to just, well, maybe I was abusive when I told a guy from like Harvard Medical School that he's not going to push me around just because he went to a trade school. I suppose that was a little cruel,
Well, I don't know if that's abusive or you're just being kind of honest. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well,
really,
I'm
because
with you.
she was really cocky with me because she was a surgeon. She just,
Yeah.
like she was better than me. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that specifically because one of the surgeons who spoke to me about this said, you know something, the way I look at it is we're just plumbers. There you go, right? This was a guy who had his
Hmm.
head on right. He knew he wasn't, and the world doesn't owe him anything because he learned how to stitch, you know. So anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm seeing healing in your future. That's the main thing.
Okay.
It's going
Yeah.
slow.
That's
That's
what
like the
I'm
Four
looking
of
for.
Swords
I'm
is about a
trying to get
timeout.
there.
Yeah, and again, you see, I had this before. I have the Eight of Swords here too, which and the Two of Swords. I had that for a previous caller today, which is showing that you're feeling kind of stuck in where you are. And
Yeah.
what I'm seeing is that that's not going to last. In fact, here I cut the deck, and I get a very happy card here, the Four of Rods. Happy home, happy family, happy life. You know, you name it, all the good stuff. So you're looking out for yourself, and that's pretty good. So
Yeah. I never used to. I am now.
that's more than half. Well, they beat it into us, don't they? They make us assertive, you know. So there you go.
Well, it was
Uh,
always like the family, take care of the family, take care of everybody.
oh,
And then I
yeah,
got sick because I didn't take care of myself. So now I'm like, you know what? If I don't cook today, well, sorry, cook your own.
yeah, that's life, right? Look, it's been great talking to you, and I will light a candle, a white candle, to send positive energy your way. How's that?
Oh, thank you very much.
Again, call anytime, and if you can email me if you want, I'm at asktarot@earthlink.net. That goes for everybody listening. Ask Tarot, ASKTAROT at earthlink.net. Show you how long I've been on the internet. I have an Earthlink address, and I will be happy to chat with you. And of course, I charge about $4,000 a minute for that, right? No charge. I like the audience here, and I do things. I'd like, for instance, I offer a free mini tarot reading to Ask One Radio listeners. So send me an email and ask for the free mini tarot reading, and you'll all get it. So the best of luck to you. Okay,
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
my pleasure. Bye bye. Phyllis in Colgate, Maryland is next. Hi, Phyllis. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm great.
Beautiful. What can I look at for you?
I have a daughter that's we haven't been talking for years, and I invited her over for Easter dinner, and she came and she celebrated my birthday with me, and I haven't heard from her since. I'm wondering what her problem is.
Oh boy. Well, let's see if I can find
Okay.
anything here. We only have a few minutes left. This sounds like it's a biggie. So let's see what we can get here. Um, well, I'm getting cards here of conflict and strife and inner confusion and strength. I see she's a strong person, but there seems to be battles in her life going on. That's what I'm getting here. And again, this is the third time I've had this card today. For some reason, it's a card of the Eight of Swords. It's a person, she feels tied up and restricted and bound by things, and it's just strange what I'm getting here, because it's a combination of a very strong, a very resourceful person, a person who is capable of self-sacrifice and doing for other people, and yet there's anxiety and fighting inside. Do you sense that with her?
I sense something with her. Something's not right with her.
Well, I would. I mean, I don't know who you could talk to about that, but aside from her, but she doesn't want to talk to you, which is kind of odd, and I'm not probably the really ideal person to talk to about this because I fired my parents years and years and years ago. They were very dangerous to me, and I had to do that. And not with any ill feeling, but just to save myself. But
Okay.
I can leave you with this, though, is the Wheel of Fortune, which tells me that this is a situation that could change, because there's also the Ten of Swords here. And that means that the worst is over. That's
Okay.
that's telling me that there's hope that this could improve.
Okay.
You sound like you know that you're doing whatever you can. So don't
Yep.
beat
But you know
yourself up
what?
over that.
I'm not, because I'm ready to say if she doesn't want to talk to me and come around, then she can stay where she's at. You can only go so far.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way it has to be sometimes, and it's family can only take you so far in a sense. But if you give it the old try and it doesn't work, it doesn't sound to me like you're blaming yourself, which is, you know what I mean. That's good. You're aware of the situation, and you know that there are certain limits beyond which you personally don't want to be pushed. And there's nothing wrong with boundaries, right? I mean, we always
Right.
hear about people setting up boundaries for their children, but it's a two-way street. I mean,
Right.
I've always told people that in my own belief is that being related is not a license to abuse people. And if you're
Right.
feeling everybody has a down period, everybody has time when things aren't going well. But if you're feeling abused, then let's face it, you don't want to. You don't want to be involved much anymore in that sense, right? So
Right.
I'm going to say
You're
I'm
not
going
going to
to
encourage it.
I have to run now because I'm right at the end of the show here. But I will light a white candle to send positive energy to this whole situation, and see if maybe that helps a bit. Okay.
No, thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks for calling, but I've got to run now.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye now. And that's it. We've come to the end of another session of Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, and we'll do it again next week when we get back here, and maybe it'll be springtime in New York finally. And it's the old joke about opening up the window and listening to the birds coughing. But that's New York, right? So in any event, I will. I'll. If you want to know more about what I do, check me out at magic-works.com, magick-works.com. And there's loads of pages there with lots of fun. There's over 100 pages of things. There's movies there. There's free books there. There's all kinds of stuff. And if you want that free mini tarot reading, drop me a line at asktarot@earthlink.net, and I'll be happy to do that for you. And you go to mojoacademy.org. As I said, there is a book there that will change your life. And I really hope you understand that I'm implying for the better. Not gonna ruin your life. So I will be back again next Wednesday at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific, to look through the magical window of the tarot with you kind, nice people. So bye-bye now.